Bill, let's talk about transparent pricing versus hidden costs and add-ons. Now, we're friends. I work for you. We put these podcasts out, but in my heart, I'm a consumer. That's what I do.
Sure.
And for a living, that's what I do. I buy things. I analyze things. I see how people purchase things. All right. This whole pricing, transparent pricing versus hidden costs is a great big deal in everybody's mind that's buying something because it's not transparent for the most part. It's not transparent. So I'm going to hold your feet to the fire today. Let's talk about in the car business. Let's talk about transparent pricing versus hidden costs and add-ons. Tell me what you know.
Well, Bob, I'm glad we're discussing this today because this is near and dear to my heart. Because I hear it every day, every single day on the showroom floor. A consumer will come in, had shopped at another dealership, or online or at the store, and the price says it's this. Then when they get to the dealership, they ask the consumer, well, are you in the military, for example? Well, no, I'm not. Well, you don't get that $500 rebate. Do you currently lease a Chrysler? Well, no, I don't. Well, you don't get that rebate. We hear it every day.
Okay. So the prices that get advertised by, and there's a lot of great dealers out there.
Yep,
there's a lot of guys not so great. Okay, so if I want to try to separate the great from the not so great, right? Yep. In the whole car business, I got to watch what they're advertising because nobody's interested in advertising anymore. I mean, I'm in the advertising business and no one's interested in advertising. Right. People are interested in the truth and information, and people get PO'd whenever they go to this one.
Yep.
Yeah, give me the price that I'm going to walk out the door. Mm-hmm. So that I know with the tax what the number's going to be. Don't bait me with some number that's so low that it's just unrealistic.
And Bob,
how do you ensure that that's going to happen at your place?
Well, first, we never add taxes on our website, nor does any other dealer.
Okay.
Only because you don't know whether the customer's in Allegheny County or Washington County, so the sales tax always varies.
Because that's not an add-on. That's just sales tax.
That's sales tax. Okay. It's not an add-on.
All right.
Plate fees and documentary fees.
Well, let's talk about those. What are they?
Are not an add-on.
Okay. That's the government.
Well, yeah, it's the state of Pennsylvania.
State of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, when you purchase a car, you have to transfer your plate to the new car or the used car, whichever you purchased. So there are fees. There are normal fees.
So that's when it says price plus
tax and documentary fees, notary fees, and so on.
You don't consider that an add-on?
They're normal fees that is the same pretty much at every single dealership.
All right.
But what I'm talking about is rebates that you don't get if you don't qualify for it.
Okay, so if I advertise a price at $35,000, right, plus tax and plates, etc.
Yep.
Some guys will give you that price, but they're assuming that you're a veteran and have leased a whole bunch of things. And if you don't get those things, you don't get that price. But I don't know that before I show up.
Exactly.
Explain some of those things.
Well, every person that walks in our door,
all right,
if they look on our website, we have a price. It's called Everyone Qualifies price.
Everyone qualifies price.
That's the price.
Okay.
That's the price. Now, if you are a retired military and you qualify for these other rebates, keep in mind, Bob, we don't care how many rebates you get because we don't give them. The manufacturer gives them.
Oh, that's a good point.
We want you to get as many rebates as you can.
Yeah, because it makes it easier for me to buy, easier for you
to sell. So, but if you go to our website and you see the price, it says clearly everyone qualifies. And everyone qualifies for that price.
Now, how about if my credit's not so good?
Well, you would still qualify for that price.
Okay. So that's what I would call that transparent pricing.
Yep.
So if I come in, my credits are really bad, and you advertise that price on your website, I'm probably going to be able to not negotiate, but earn a better price if my credit's really good, or if I'm able to finance it better, or if I'm a veteran, or what are some of the other? Give me some of the other ones again.
Well, for example, getting back to that price.
Okay.
It doesn't matter whether you have good credit or bad credit. When that price is $30,000, that's your price. Now, when we call it into the bank,
I got it.
Someone with great credit might get 3.9%. Someone with not so great credit might get 7.9%, whatever the number is. We have no control over that. That's the bank. But the price should not waver based on your credit. First of all, it's illegal.
Okay.
It's illegal to do that.
As I said in The Godfather, the price, it remains the same.
The price remains the same. Yeah.
That's cool. So what are some of the other traditional rebates that I could get, and I should remember that to ask for if I'm coming to buy a car?
Well, a lot of times when you're leasing a vehicle, you might be leasing a Toyota, and we might have a rebate on a certain car that if you have a conquest vehicle, and they would consider that conquest.
What's a conquest vehicle?
It would be someone leasing a brand that's different than the one we sell.
Okay, so a conquest for you guys is that if I'm driving a Ford and I come to buy a Jeep,
right?
Chrysler considers that a conquest because they took it off of another manufacturer, and vice versa.
Right.
And you can lose a deal to Ford, which is okay.
Exactly.
So that's a conquest.
But you can't include that rebate in the everyone qualifies because not everybody's driving the Ford.
Okay.
So that's what I'm getting at. And we see this happen a lot. The other thing we see, Bob, is after you've made a deal on the car and you go into the business manager's office, and that's the guy that does all the paperwork and prints everything up, he is not allowed to tell you that you have to finance this vehicle here to get that price.
He's not allowed to tell you. Explain what that means.
For example, you walk into the business, you just made a deal with a
$35,000.
$35,000 plus tax.
I feel like that's my price plus tax and plates. $35,000. I'm ready to write a check. I go into the business manager's office,
and he says, well, I can't give you this price unless you finance the vehicle with us. You're paying cash, Mr. Sill. You don't get that price.
Is that ethically, or is that actually against the law?
It's morally wrong and it's legally wrong.
So it's legally wrong and morally wrong, and of course ethically wrong.
Exactly. And we see that going on. It's not right.
What are the other little, let's call them hidden costs that happen somewhere like when you're going into the business manager's office?
They could do things like add freight on top of the price. After you've agreed on the price, they could say that you have to pay for freight. Freight's already included in the price, so they shouldn't add on anything.
I've heard in the past somebody's tried to run past me dealer prep, or there was like, well, Bob, we had dealer prep and transportation.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a lawyer, but I can tell you we don't add anything on. We don't add anything on.
Okay, so everybody watching can hold your feet to the fire like I will if I buy a car from you.
Yep.
Once you give me the price once the educator, not the salesman, because there aren't any salesmen at your place. There's educators.
Yep.
Once one of those guys gives me a number, and I'm going to say to him, it's just the best thing to say, so is this the number less tax and he says, yeah, Bob, this is the number. Mm-hmm. When I go in to talk to your people, that's my number.
That's the number.
Now, if I choose to add something on, like some kind of conditioning product or whatever, that's up to me. But that's not extra or an add-on.
No,
that's
if you decided to buy rust proofing or undercoating or paint sealant, that's not transparent. That's products that are offered by some dealerships and are good products. Yeah. And you have the right to say yes or no to them. But here's the tricky part, Bob. The tricky part. What we were talking about transparent pricing, that's on purchases.
Okay.
When someone leases a car and we're sitting at the desk trying to find the right car for them, once we find the right car for them, they decide that leasing is the avenue that they want to go down, and we give them a payment. When we quote payments on leasing, we always quote Tier 1 payments.
All right.
And Tier 1 means best credit.
My Tier 1 payments, okay, let's make sure that we focus on that. Go.
So the payment that we have agreed on with the customer might be, pick a number, $330 a month at Tier 1. We then call it into the bank, and the bank does not approve that customer at a Tier 1. Okay. Let's just say it's a Tier 2 or Tier 3.
If the bank does not.
If the bank does not. The payment would go up.
Okay.
But it's not, money doesn't go in our pocket. That's the bank that won't approve it at a Tier 1.
Okay.
So, and it's happened in our showroom before. We've shook hands with a customer before at $299 a month, and then we get all the finance, the credit apps into the bank, and the bank says, listen, I can't approve it at that. This is going to be a Tier 2. So when the payment goes up, it's not us being dishonest. It's the bank just won't approve it.
Okay. So and that's why you go to the business manager's office.
Yes.
There are certain areas outside of your control, like the bank where you get the money, et cetera, that you have no control over. And when you make the customer, you make me aware of it, I've got to understand, and you make me understand, which are separate from you. And what I like what you said was, well, it's not like we're making money on you on that.
Right.
That's just because that's the way life is.
Exactly.
That's the way the bank lends money. It's not really about you making any more money. It's not about you covering anything up or adding anything on. Is that right?
It's exactly right. And we have no way of knowing what tier you will fall into until you fill out a credit app, until it's called into the bank. And we certainly don't want to do that prior to you purchasing the car.
All right. And that's on leases, right?
That's on leases.
That's on leases. And
yes. I just wanted to be clear on that.
Okay. So I think we can wrap it up here. Give us a quick summary on, and I think you've done an excellent job here of educating me. So I got to think you've done a good job for everybody else as well.
Yeah.
On real pricing, transparent pricing versus add-ons and hidden costs.
Exactly. If I were shopping for a car, Bob, whether it be a Chrysler, a Ford, a Chevy, and I got online, which is what many of the consumers do before they even arrive at the dealership, I would look for a dealership that has everyone qualifies pricing on it.
And that's the best way to do it. And if you make a phone call, if I make a phone call and I say, hey, this price I see online, does everyone qualify? If they don't say, if somebody hedges around, there's a good chance that they're just trying to suck you in the door.
Exactly.
Get them to say, everyone. That means, yes, sir, I don't know anything about you, but you qualify at that price because everybody does.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Boy, that's a tremendous explanation. And I don't care where you buy a car, if it's from you or from anybody else down the road, this kind of information makes it very easy for me as the customer anywhere, on anything. If I'm buying glasses.
Yeah. It's no different.
If these are $18, I want them to be $18. But if they're $29, just tell me they're $29.
Right.
Don't get me at the end because I'll never come back again.
Exactly.
And that's what a lot of people are doing today. The cord cutters and a lot of people that are getting real smart at buying online. What they've learned is, I'm not going to deal with that kind of crap anymore.
Right.
So I know it's good to know that if I come to your place, that what is the price is the price. It stays the same.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bob.